Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Get ready to go live from Charlie's. Coming up next here on BFA Sports. Don't go anywhere. Testing 1, 2, 3. Getting ready to go live from Charlie's in just 2 minutes right here on BFA Sports. Three, two, one, testing. Good evening, everybody from Charlie's. Last mic check. The following is a presentation of BFA Sports.
Line drive down the left field line. This one's going to fair ball to the fence. Janoff's headed to second.
Stretch, pitch, long and lifted into shallow left field. Falls in, base hit. Wilson's going to come around to score. And Mainland, for the second year in a row, comes from behind at the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Placed into right field, Weingartner back, it's gone! An opposite field home run.
Good evening and welcome to Charlie's Bar in Summers Point, New Jersey. It is time to kick off the 2024 Coaches versus Cancer Classic, baseball style, live from Mainland. It's coming up at the end of April for BFA Sports. Doug Stasic and my brothers from another tonight, Mike Edwards and Eddie Charlton. Gentlemen, welcome to the big event.
Thanks for having us.
Another year.
Oh, man. So, guys, place is packed, beef and beer here, Mike Edwards, and so you'll get the bat lead off tonight.
All right.
Fill us in, man. 2024, we're headed into our how many seasons now?
Well, we missed one to COVID, so this will be 13.
Yeah, man.
Right? 13 with one miss to COVID, and, we're ready to roll, man. We're ready to roll.
Well, we're ready to roll, and for those of you at home that are tuning in, again, thank you for all the generosity, for all the support over these lucky 13 years. And if you can find it in your heart tonight, there's a QR code at the bottom right of your screen. Take a snapshot of the phone. You have the Mainland Baseball-CVC Venmo account that every dollar really helps. We'll talk to you more tonight as it goes on about how you can help, and just give a little, because giving a little goes a long way. And Eddie Charlton, the board has been very busy.
Yeah, it's been a big off season. Biggest project probably was the JV field getting sodded, which was amazing. Obviously, thank you to the Betts family. I know we're going to get to that a little later, but can't talk about that enough. That was the biggest part of this whole thing, making the event that much better.
Yeah, we have some action behind the scenes. And speaking of action on the field, Mike Edwards, an expansion of sorts this year. So we're going to be going through the schedule and the calendar. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. We have coaches from quite a few programs throughout South Jersey that will be here. But 19 is the new number in terms of games.
Yep, we got 19 games, 38 teams total, and having the extra space available and resurfacing the JV field allowed us to do that. And then we even kind of increased some things over going on this year at Margate for the first time, where we'll have an extra one game added Saturday night. So we're really excited about that. We'll have night games going on Friday and Saturday, so that's really cool. So we're excited.
Yeah, Ed, you've played a lot of games in summer ball over there at Margate. So talk about kind of what that scene may look like for some of the novices in the high school baseball scene that maybe have not played on the field of the Margate Hurricanes.
Yeah, Margate's a great place to play. A lot of places to watch from. It's a unique field. It's a great place to hit at. Also, it depends which way the wind's blowing, but it is usually a pretty cool place to hit. The dimensions of the field are all different. Center field short with the high fence, deep left center, cuts back in, not too deep to left, a little bit deeper and right, higher fence. But it's a pretty cool place to play, and the field's always in great condition. They do a great job over there.
And from the high school scene, Mike, a bit of a decision to jump over to Margate.
Right.
I know we've seen Friday night events under the Friday Night Lights at Summers Point.
Yeah.
We've seen them at Northfield, and now over to Margate. So you want to talk a little bit about the decision of trying to expand the zone, if you want to call it that?
You know, we're just trying to use an opportunity to kind of reach some different audiences in the Down Beach area, and there's a good connection. I mean, Margate has been a baseball town for a long time since I was a kid, and it was kind of an opportunity. We try to mix it up. We try to do some time at both Northfield and Summers Point. Being from mainland, and we wanted to kind of branch out a little bit more, and we can get into that, of course, a little bit later. We're branching out into trying to get involved in some other sports, just be visible, and our ultimate goal with that is just to try to raise more money. The more money we can raise, the more scholarship money we can provide to these student athletes, and that's the ultimate goal, is to try to get back to the student athletes that are participating. And they're the ones affected. They're the ones going through this. If the more reach we can get and expand into Margate and things like that, our hope is it's only going to generate more money, which generates more money to the kids.
Well, what a great way to kick it off tonight here at the Beef and Beer. So talking about raising more money, people very generous, showing up, buying tickets.
Right.
Not only do you have coaches, coaching staff, we've seen players. I know some of your guys from mainland are in the house tonight. I'm sure we'll get a chance to give them their 5 seconds of fame on the microphone. But talk about exactly just that, right? It's about raising money. It's about raising awareness. And this is beyond, I guess you would say, your wildest dreams. And I know, obviously, for those that know your story, you started this as an honor of your late mother, who had battled till the very end, and then your father years later also had battled. So now 13 years in, the amount of businesses and people that have stepped up and helped support this cause is very humbling.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And we've talked about this in the past, how just how strong the South Jersey baseball community is, and the fraternity of guys that we have. The guys that are sitting behind me, the guys that are going to be participating in this thing, they're guys that we've competed against for a long time, years and years. And, it's a really neat opportunity to kind of continue to compete, but also come together for a really good cause. When we started this thing years and years ago, I think the first year we only raised about $3,000, and I say only, it was year one, and it was something that we could tell from the early stages that it was going to be. We knew we could make it into a pretty big and significant event, and we're at the point now where we're giving $20,000 a year to different things, the American Cancer Society, along with the scholarship. So to think back to year one, I think we might have had 12 teams, and we were just getting started. We didn't really know what we were doing, and we just kept at it. We felt it was important, and the community around us kind of validated that by continuing to show up and participate. It's been really humbling for me and overwhelming because there's so many other people that make this thing go. Our staff at with Mainland CVC, none of this stuff is possible without all these guys and the sacrifices that they make. So that's what's kind of humbling for me, is these guys are just, they're not making any money. There's nothing to gain from this other than helping people and doing good for the kids that we're out there watching every day. It's a really neat feeling to be able to hand money to a kid to help him out. That's a really special feeling.
Yeah, I think the smiles say it all. And then, Eddie, all these players come with a whole additional purpose, and it's kind of twofold, right? You're playing with pride. You're playing on a big stage in a showcase-style environment. We're going to talk a lot about the matchups along the way. We've seen phenomenal baseball. So, you're in the business of developing players, coaching players, getting them ready to play at an elite level, at not just from the high school ranks, but obviously well and beyond into college. Talk a little bit about what's the vibe, right? Like a South Jersey baseball player, how big of an event is this for your team to get an invite and for you to actually have your name on a lineup card to play?
Yeah, and I'll say this, when the guys in the facility, when we do this announcement of who they're playing and whatnot, when they find out that they're in the event, they're jacked up, and they should be. It's a great event every year. The matchups are always really good. They're entertaining. Sometimes they're a bit of rivalry stuff. It's just to get the guys juiced up about the event is great, and every guy loves the games. They're always very, very like, hey, cannot wait for this game, and that's what you want. As us running the event, and putting all this together, like we want the guys that are playing each other to want to play each other, want to be juiced up, because it just makes the event that much better.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And we have families that then come up where it's, players and coaches and family members are throwing out first pitches, and they're honoring, people that have battled, people that are currently battling. You see a whole different side of a baseball player, and you see a whole different level of how beautiful this game is, how it just brings people together from every walk of life. And regardless of the fact that there's going to be 38 different teams that are going to be represented, battling cancer is something that puts us all on the same team. And that's so unique about this event, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's special. And the way I kind of look at it is, it's a tremendous community event. And then when those guys step between the lines, it's just like any other game. Like you're doing everything you can to win. You're competing.
A lot of battles.
And there's been some just remarkable matchups over the years and memorable moments. And we've even had guys that have played in our event that are cancer survivors themselves. And it's just been, we've had a couple guys pitch in the event that are cancer survivors, and to see that and the impact that it has, and how important it is to their teammates and things like that. And, you have people out there throwing out a first pitch, and they're your teammate. They're the guy that you care about. That's your brother. And seeing him in that moment, puts things into an interesting perspective for a lot of young kids. Because we have that invincibility about us, and then we're out there and we realize how grateful we should be. And man, it doesn't take much. These kids are incredible, and they're grateful. They're competitive. It's just like I said, everything else is what makes this happen. The players, the coaches, the staff, everyone.
Well, a lot of surprises that are certainly on tap tonight. And I guess we can start out, maybe, Mike, if you want to reach over to your right. That is a beautiful piece of leather from the Emery Glove Company. So we're going to pull that box up and maybe put it in the middle of the shot.
Here we go.
So talk a little bit about that beauty.
So we have a relationship with Emery Glove Company through Eddie and BPC and Chase Petty, and those guys. We kind of reached out. We're like, hey, would this be something you'd be interested in helping us out with? And they had us design this glove, and they put it together for us. And we have our logo on there, and then we have my mom's initials on there, and then the words "Crush Cancer" on the back. And this was a generous gift from the guys at Emery, and we're grateful. We just thought it would be neat to have something to kind of put on display, and it's a pretty cool looking piece of leather. So
it's really nice.
Kevin Schneider loves the baseball community, especially when it comes to South Jersey. Talk about basically an all-American dream story for him and the work that he's done behind the scenes. And of course, for Phillies fans, you'd be happy to know that none other than Nick Castellanos involved with that organization as well. So you have a lot of guys you're going to see it all night long. You're going to see it all through the event. But anybody that loves the game of baseball really has found a way to contribute in one way or another.
Absolutely.
Ton of business sponsors this year. We'll talk a little bit even about how that has grown along the way. So a lot to cover in a finite amount of time. Don't go anywhere. Joining us next, it'll be none other than Gary Brick as we unveil what the JV field used to look like versus what the players are going to get a chance to play on thanks to our friends at the Tuckahoe Turf Farm. Don't go anywhere. We're stepping away. We'll be right back here from Charlie's, the Coaches versus Cancer Baseball Classic Kickoff. Welcome back to Charlie's Bar here at Summers Point, where it's almost like Cheers. Everybody seems to know your name.
That's right.
And for the Mainland Mustangs fan, everybody knows this guy's name. It's Gary Brick, the head groundskeeper. And Gary, you're making magic happen. I mean, over the course of this event, we've had rain, we've had storms, I feel like we've had snow once or twice. You've gotten everything thrown at you.
It's nature just doesn't like us.
So talk a little bit about just how much stress you kind of go after knowing that you're trying to get all these games in over the course of a weekend. And up until this point, you really only had the one field.
That's true. It's not that stressful because there's a whole group of guys. I mean, there's like 15 guys out here, and it's not like a regular league game for us because it's just me and one of my guys.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at us, are we going to play today or not? But when it comes to this tournament, it's actually a lot easier because we have help.
Oh, that's a bonus then.
It is. It's great.
So,
and everybody's in a good mood. It's just a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's always fun.
Well, last year started playing some of the games over on the JV field, but if you're not a Mainland baseball fan, you may not know, although a lot of JV fields really are, it was a skin field.
Right.
So big transition underway.
So through the gracious donations of a few benefactors, we've been able to grass the infield.
And I think we have a video.
Okay, I heard about it.
We can keep talking as it goes. So Coach Dan Thimiani of the Millville Thunderbolts and also a board member, he put this together. So this was a bit of the before. So talk us through it, Gary.
Well, we had Tuckahoe did the excavation on the infield, and here we're putting the irrigation in. In fact, this is part of Tuckahoe doing the excavation. We had to remove about 8 inches of clay. And, I mean, I'll tell you what, they're a great group of guys to work with. They do a lot of work for us, and this was all donation.
Yeah, so Tuckahoe Turf Farm, Site 1, and you mentioned the irrigation from Marone Sprinklers.
Marone Irrigation from Absecon, and Site 1 from Egg Harbor Township. Oh, there's a great picture. Flooded.
Yeah.
The geese loved it. But, yeah, it was about 3 years in the making to get this done.
And you talk about the generosity. So when you have these local businesses, not only do they want to support Mainland Regional High School and the baseball team, but knowing that this event is held year after year, they wanted to make sure that you had another facility that could make this Coaches versus Cancer event even better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not fun playing on a skinned infield at this level.
No.
So the kids deserve it, the guys deserve it, and we're hoping everybody really appreciates what went into this for this year, because it should play really well.
And I think it was last year as well, right? You went through a transformation with some of the dugouts set up.
Yeah. We had to rebuild one of them. We had one blow over in a storm.
Never a dull moment.
You can't make this stuff up.
So what kind of grass did the Tuckahoe Turf Farm go with, Gary? Do you know?
It's their typical bluegrass athletic mix. It's the same thing we used on the varsity field about 2.5 years ago. It holds up really well. I mean, we've used them for probably about 15 years now. We do a lot of work with them.
Yeah, well, again, the generosity that they have there is phenomenal. And, I think so many kids are just looking forward to getting the opportunity to be some of the first. And I guess it's kind of a unique situation because usually in every baseball program, at least in high school, the varsity get the lion's share of the resources and the better time and the better facility. But this could possibly be a little bit different. So if you're on the JV squad this year, perhaps you have a leg up.
Well, they're going to play. They're going to have, basically, we have 2 varsity fields now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I don't think these kids are feeling like they're JV anymore.
A call up to the big show.
Yeah, why not?
Very cool. So now, I know we have basically a staggered schedule this year, so that kind of helps you guys as well, get one field ready and then the next, so that's all by design.
Yeah, I think there's a 30-minute lag in between games, and last year we did that, and it got a little tight because
Some of the games are long.
yeah, you run a little bit longer than the allotted time, and like, okay, doesn't matter, we'll make it happen.
All right, well, we're going to make it happen because we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into the schedule unveil of who's going to get a chance to be maybe the first team to play on that JV field over there at Mainland. Again, special thanks to our friends at the Tuckahoe Turf Farm, Site 1 Excavation, and Marone Irrigation right there out of Absecon. Gary Brick, head of grounds over at the Mainland Mustang Corral. Thanks for joining us, Gary, and can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
All right. Welcome back to Charlie's here in Summers Point. Doug Stasic for the BFA Sports Crew, and now we're getting ready to get into the schedule, and two guys that are infamous, notorious, legends in their own right, legends in your mind, but every single year you guys seem to be the ones right in the driver's seat to kick things off the right way, and when you're looking for a great baseball matchup, nobody better than to see the Bridgeton Bulldogs take on the Atlantic City Vikings. I'm joined now by Bridgeton head coach Mike Villela and by the Atlantic City Vikings head coach Brent Bean. Gentlemen, welcome back to Coaches versus Cancer.
Thanks for having us, Doug. Can't wait to be a part of it.
It's always a great time. Every year, I think one of the marquee matchups that Mike and I have always talked about over the years is our Coaches versus Cancer weekend. It means a lot to both of us. We've been doing it over the last, I would say, 6 seasons?
At least.
Yep. And we always have some good matchups every single year. So it's one of those things on the calendar that we look forward to.
So talk about the kids, because, I mean, this is the one, like, right out of Jump Street, this is a big game on the schedule every single year for both of your squads.
Yeah, last year we took a trip up to Cooperstown together, and the kids got to know each other real well. And I think that, built the rivalry up even that much more. And, and as the way the schedule works out this year, we play Atlantic City the 2 games directly after our Coaches versus Cancer game. So we have a 3-game series going on. So it's going to be a great chess match back and forth with Bean over those 3 games.
I love it, man.
It's going to be fun.
So it's going to be a legit winner-take-all type of series then this year.
I think, you know what, it's a good old-fashioned 3-game series.
Okay.
That's how we're going to look at it as. I think this year, us being able to play on a Friday at 4 o'clock to open up the Coaches vs. Cancer, that was something very special to me because usually we play that Saturday morning.
Right.
Yeah.
And this, for us to open up at 4 o'clock on a Friday is really cool because we've been in it since the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since the beginning. So.
I was gonna ask Billy and Mike. You know, I think we've been two of the teams that have been in it from the very beginning.
Yeah,
I know that we've grown to 30-plus teams now, but we've been there from the start.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well, let's take a sneak peek. Speaking of Friday, so let's hit number 1, Sam, and here we go. And it's going to be a couple of newcomers to the festivities this year. Of course, we talked about the 4 o'clock matchup, Atlantic City Vikings versus the Bridgeton Bulldogs, but we also have the Shalit Cougars who will take on the Cape May Tech Hawks. Can't wait to see that one. And another game at 4 o'clock because, again, we're at 3 places at one time. These guys made it so easy for us on the broadcast standpoint.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So I will kind of put a little bit of a teaser out there. You may see a BFA Sports Red Zone baseball coverage.
A triple
on
box?
This one. Yeah,
we got a triple box game?
It could be crazy. My brother from another Al Fisher, he's going to lose his mind. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Paul, if we can bring that back just up one more time for us, Sam. We're going to have Paul the Sixth versus Audubon. New head coach Paul the Sixth, DM Phillips. He's in the house tonight. He'll be joining us shortly. And, another game, right? So Mainland hosting the visitors from the other side of the rainbow, as we like to say.
Which is actually
Saratoga, New York.
Oh, wow.
So Saratoga, New York, going to be represented. We'll grab head coach Billy Kern, also a board member. Talk a little bit about that because that's going to be a home and away series. And, Coach Villela, you're one that likes to travel. You're a historian when it comes to baseball.
Yep.
Are you headed down to spring training?
It's funny you say that. I just mentioned to someone earlier, I have never been to spring training in my entire life.
Well, tough with the teaching, I guess.
It's tough teaching, it's tough coaching, but to take the kids down there, it's tough in our situation where we're at. I imagine they'll get down there when I retire, 8 or 10 years from now.
I can concur on that. I always said I would love to go down there. Just being baseball guys, just going down there and being able to see just all the guys and everything else and what they do and how they practice and just being around the atmosphere is going to be a lot of fun, especially when I retire as well.
Yep.
Well, I generally do make the journey, and I guess I always said, right, got lots of surprises since you guys are sitting here, and you probably don't even know. It's breaking news.
Uh-oh.
So this year, 2024 Coaches versus Cancer Classic, a guy that loves to go down to spring training, a guy that covers the Phillies and gives us all the news here throughout South Jersey, our own Mike Gill of 97.3 ESPN. 97.3 ESPN will be airing some of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic games this year on the 97.3 mobile app.
Awesome.
Mike will be in seat. He'll be calling the games, and so another way to kind of just expand the brand.
Awesome.
And you're going to tune into the Sports Bash every day, 2 to 6, as you'll hear promos. We're going to have interviews with coaches. We're going to have interviews with players to set up some of the games for the week leading in. So,
and Mike Gill's always been good about that. Obviously coaching with the local A-Shore team and everything else. So all of our towns and everything have been beneficial from the players that he has coached. So that's really great to hear that Mike Gill's going to get involved in all that. It's really awesome. But I got to tell you something else. I know Mike talked about us before going to Cooperstown and everything else, and the kids getting to bond with each other and hang out with each other. I always say with Mike every single year that this is one of the games that we look forward to nonstop.
100%. Circled on our calendar every year.
So whether Mike and I kind of jaw back and forth to each other or the kids kind of jaw back and forth to each other, but it is one of those kind of games that we always look forward to.
All right.
Are we getting booted out?
No. You're going to slide towards me a little bit. We're just going to get a little tighter. So Paul the Sixth, head coach, DM Phillips, also ready to play on Friday night or Friday afternoon here.
Yes, sir.
So your debut in the Coaches versus Cancer, coach, and leading the Eagles. So a lot of new things on deck for you for sure this year. But DM, this is certainly going to be an event that really comes and hits you hard at home.
Yes.
Again, for those that don't know, your wife had battled for a period of time, and shortly after you guys committed to come into the event, she had passed back in September.
Yes. It's this event is something that is really true, deep, touches me. I'm at a loss for words how much it means to me, honestly, and I'm going to try not to get too emotional about it, but before my wife passed, she was extremely excited that we were involved in this because she had brain surgery in 2013 and she was cancer-free until May of 2023, and it came back, and she had always wanted to give back to people that were battling cancer and families and that, and she gave the ultimate when she had her biopsy in September. She get donated tissue to be studied, and hopefully through programs like this and her tissue donation that we can come up with a cure for any of the cancers that are out there, especially glioblastoma, which I wear my
Proudly.
yes,
Proudly.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that it really just brings it all together.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's how special it is really playing the event.
Yep.
And again, I would say, your wife was kind of this extended baseball mom. So when you were in the travel circuit and you had the Cubs and you were involved in combat, Scanzano, she was always the one to make sure that everybody was taken care of, regardless, of who it was. Didn't matter.
Yep.
She just loved to find a way to give back and make kids feel like they were big leaguers.
Oh yeah, she was their biggest fan. Whenever anybody's kid on our team, she was always cheering for him, and she'll be cheering again. She's watching down on us, and just hope we can continue to make her proud.
Yeah.
I do have a pair of turfs that I didn't wear tonight, but I'm going to wear them a tribute to her. They are turfs with the gray glioblastoma or brain cancer ribbon with her name on it. And I also had another friend who passed 4 years before my wife of the same exact thing. She's on my right shoe, he's on the left.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
they're
Cool.
wearing
I got
them for-
goosebumps thinking about that.
That's fantastic.
Holy cow.
I'm wearing them for one game, and I'll wear one game every year.
I love
Yeah.
it.
That's awesome, Coach. Are you, now, will you wear that during the event
Yes.
this year? Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's even better,
Yeah.
Coach.
That'll be the first time they come out into the public.
That's
what it's
awesome.
all about.
That's awesome.
Hopefully it's not too muddy so I don't have to clean them off too much.
Hey, it's all part of the fun. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw the video, the JV field, brand new.
Yeah, looks
You
great.
guys are getting the Cadillac treatment, or I should say the RK Chevrolet High Country Silverado treatment.
Hey, listen, I know
They're
we
a
call
Grand
it
Slam
JV
sponsor.
field, but it's really not a JV
No,
field.
I
You know
said
what
to
I mean?
Gary.
Like it's
nicer than the
legit.
varsity. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not discounting with the varsity field. It's always been one of the nicest ones. But
Right.
all of a sudden, usually it's like the JV, you get the backup
Playing on
uniforms.
brand
Maybe
new
it doesn't
grass,
match.
brand new
Dude,
mound.
they're getting all brand new.
So should we switch our field to
Yeah, we might switch that game, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So really good stuff. DM, talk about, coaches were talking about
Yeah.
how their kids are always amped up. They see us on the schedule.
Yeah.
How are the Eagles approaching this now, knowing that they're going to be playing in a Coaches versus Cancer Classic?
They're excited, and they're excited because of what I've been through, and they want to be a part of it. And, we have a great bunch of kids. They came to me and said, Coach, we want to put a patch or something on our uniform for your wife. And I said, we'll look into it. But that's how much they're into what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be jacked up when they find out who we're playing, too.
Well,
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
little bit of we'll call it a demographic rivalry.
Yeah.
So they're going to be taking on Audubon, a team
Yep.
that had a great season last year, and ones that you guys know each other well.
Yeah.
You kind of look at the roster. You have some kids that maybe you would have been
They
playing
all
for
know each
Audubon
other.
that
Yeah.
are playing over at Paul VI. So
But I think that's what makes the Coaches vs. Cancer tournament probably better, in my opinion, better than any tournament that's in South Jersey. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because now you get to play like a local rival.
Yeah.
And the kids know each other. They probably play travel ball with each other and
Oh, yeah.
everything else. So now going head-to-head in a high school matchup, it's pretty exciting for kids. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the cool thing about our tournament is that we can bring different schools together that they may not get a chance to do on a regular basis.
yeah. So Mike, talk about how do you prepare for something like this, knowing that right out of the gate, one of your biggest games on the schedule is Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, like Bean said earlier, we've done it for years, and it's one of those games you always have circled on your calendar. And we start prepping the kids. I know DM said the kids know about it now. We'll start telling them in the preseason, and then once the season starts, we got this coming up in a few weeks, and then it's 2 weeks, 1 week away. And you look forward to it because it's definitely, as you guys know, the season's a grind. Every day, whether it's a practice or a game, 25 games in the course of 50, 55 days, it gets tough. And you always want to look forward to those things that are special, stand out. And this thing certainly stands out. It's very special and has been for years. And it continues to grow every year. I mean, we're close to 40 teams now.
Yeah,
it's
38,
amazing.
38 this year.
I think when we first started, it was, one day with 8 teams. Now it's up to
now it's all to 38.
38.
3 sites and keeping you busy, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to split the atom on that one, but
Right.
Well, I think when DM is in there and Paul 6 is in there a lot longer and everything else, I know some of my players have already said to me over this course of the school year is like, Coach, I just want to pitch in CVC.
Yeah.
Like I have a couple kids that say, Coach, I just want to pitch. I want to start that game. And I'm like, all right, hey, slow your roll a little bit, but we'll see what we get to. But with that being said, like I know my kids look forward to that weekend because they know not only what it means to me and what I went through, but what they've gone through with their families as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach, cancer survivor multiple times over.
Yeah.
And you're a grinder, and who better to show the kids be appreciative of every day, every opportunity, and when you get to put that hat on, put the AC, it means a lot to you.
Yeah, absolutely does. And, I think Mike can say, DM can say as well, I think that guys like us have been, and everybody else who's here as well, can speak to the fact that, hey, I think we were kind of born for this. This is what we have kind of been made to do.
Yeah.
From what we've done as young people and our parents, what they instilled in us, and what we're trying to instill in our players today. It kind of just carries on. I feel very fortunate to be a part of this. I know Mike does, and I know DM just hearing his story just kind of, I know he's very grateful for being in this tournament as well, man. And it's really, and we thank you very much for sharing that story with us, man. That's very powerful, and I'm very sorry for your loss, bud.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, Friday night is in the books. We're going to step away, come back, and unveil Saturday. So, again, 4 games have been unveiled. We got another 15 to share with you.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. And if you're in the neighborhood, check us out here at Charlie's. And if you're the one looking to throw the first pitch and strike out Cancer this year, you can do so. Go right to the Venmo account at mainlandbaseball-CVC or scan the QR code on the bottom right of your screen. Thanks for being with us tonight, and thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Saturday's schedule coming up next right here from Charlie's. Welcome back to Charlie's right here in Summers Point. Since 1944, the Thomas family and company have been serving up some of the best tenders this side of, I don't even know where, I'm going to say worldwide. If you haven't grabbed your bucket, I don't know what it is that you're waiting for. Everybody's chowing down. And now I'm joined by a couple guys that are hungry for some victories in 2024. And we're going to talk and, well, unveil the schedule. I will say from an editor's standpoint, you may see a graphic that's going to be changed, but these guys can straighten us out as we kind of get into that just a little bit because, you know, the weather, even though we haven't even played a game yet, the weather is already impacting the 2024 schedule, so we'll get into that. But for right now, joined by guys that have 3 programs that are on the rise, and they're all going to be featured here on Saturday. We're joined by Vineland, Timber Creek, and Overbrook. Coach Jones, Coach Cates, Coach Himes. Guys, welcome to the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. So talk a little bit about it. You know, Greg, this is something that's old hat for you. You guys are, first off, what unis are you wearing? Are you going to tell us, or is that a secret?
I don't know. Me and Cates are trying to figure that out. I do have a surprise for the kids this year. I can't let everyone know right now, but
because Kyle Jones is another guy over at Vineland. I mean, there's more uniforms at this table than the University of Oregon program in any sport combined. I can tell you that right now. So, you know, Coach Cates, I don't know what you got in store for the Chargers, but listen, you're going to have to up your uniform.
We got 3 sets. We're debuting 2 new sets this year ourselves. So yeah, Himes and I have already been talking about who's wearing what this year.
So well, when he came out with the crazy, I'll call it the powder blue tribute, that was definitely a showstopper.
I mean, we haven't debuted anything yet, but I will say that might be the color we've been discussing who's going to wear.
Oh, okay. All right. No powder blues for the Fighting Clan, though, Kyle.
No, we get new jerseys every year. We travel to Florida. I get the seniors together. They pick out something. So we got a new one for this year, but it's not blue.
All right. Well, let's check things out, and why don't we go through Saturday's schedule, highlighted by some of these guys here, starting at 9 o'clock. It'll be the Southern Rams taking on the Hamilton Blue Devils at 9 o'clock. And you can see our friends from Absegami, led by Junior Mejia, they're going to take over at 10 o'clock on the beautiful brand new JV field as they take on Haddon Heights. It looks like Kingsway and Shawnee should be a phenomenal battle at 11:30. Fighting Clan taking on Cherry Hill East. Have you guys ever played the Cougars?
I think that we played them in the playoffs a few years ago before I took over as head coach.
So a bit of a unique setup there. 2 o'clock, we got the Thunderbolts versus Bishop Eustace. That's a bit of a big step up there. You know, Millville has some serious bats, and you know, Kyle, you get a chance to play against Coach Fimiani and the crew back-to-back. One of my favorite back-to-backs on the BFA calendar, and I will give everyone a preview and let them know that we will be covering both the home and away series for that rivalry where
just so you know,
must see TV.
You know, that's our rival, so when we play in Vineland, the game has been moved to 7 o'clock, so that'll be a night game.
Under the lights. So I love it. Glad to hear that. And so, again, now it's kind of where you see a little bit of a change. So Overbrook and Timber Creek, it shows at 3 o'clock, but we actually moved some things around because of a snow day that needs to be made up, Coach.
Yeah, breaking news today, actually. We're going to be playing at 10 o'clock.
All right. So we'll be able to update that accordingly. The Holy Spirit Spartans take on Cherokee. We'll hear from Coach Norman and Coach Petriani coming up here in just a few minutes. And then, of course, Coach DJ Gore, under the lights, is going to be back in Margate as he takes on Spotswood. And, again, a little bit more of a shocking schedule. So as we peel that back and go back to live time, let's talk about when these guys approach you and they say, hey, Coaches versus Cancer Classic, you two guys seem like you were already teed up and like, yeah, we want to play, and this is the best place we want to do it.
Yeah, so we were actually scheduled for the Friday before, and then, you know, Cates texted me. It was his idea. He was like, hey, you just want to tell him, like, we'll play there? And it was like, absolutely. So it's kind of like, you know, a little backyard brawl. Our kids are already doing a little fun jawing, and me and John came up with an idea. So for every hit we have as a team and for every strikeout we have defensively, we're going to donate $10 to the fund. So each team, the coaches after the game, we're going to stand at home plate. We're going to divvy up some cash and make an extra donation to the tournament.
Awesome.
Yeah.
absolutely love. That's what the inspiration and what it's all about for the night. Coach, from a Vineland standpoint, you had mentioned, you guys pack things up. You head down to Vero Beach, which has been tradition for as many years as I can possibly remember. So when you jump on the Coaches versus Cancer schedule here, and you're playing an opponent like Cherry Hill East, obviously out of conference, out of division, what makes it so special to want to come in and take these guys on a big stage?
Well, first of all, the tournament, as soon as we were invited, I really wanted to take part in it because both my parents are cancer survivors, so that was a big thing for me. And you always play a great team. Over at Vineland, I always try to schedule, the toughest schedule that I can each year to get us prepared for the playoffs. And Cherry Hill East is one of the best around, so I'll take them on.
A scrappy team, always tremendously coached. Coach Jason gets these guys rocking and rolling, and they fight and they claw, and there's never a lead that you ever feel safe when you have them. So certainly looking forward to that. So as well as you guys kind of know each other from a rivalry standpoint, how hard is it to try to prepare for somebody that kind of knows you like the back of your hand?
It's kind of interesting for us because Greg and I, since he took over, we've been trying to rekindle this. We're neighboring towns, but for whatever reason, we haven't played for a number of years. I couldn't even tell you the last time we played Overbrook. So it was able to work out this year, and then we kind of had the idea, let's try to do it down here since we both love this tournament so much. So as much as we are rivals, it's kind of been like on the dormant a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. There's not a ton of familiarity like there probably will be in the future.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us, getting this thing teed up. Again, we're going to visit real quickly with Coach Norman, Coach Patriani from the Cherokee Chiefs. So don't go anywhere. More coaches conversation and more surprises. It comes up next right here on BFA Sports from Charlie's in Summers Point. Well, a beautiful evening here for the Beef and Beer kickoff for the Mainland Coaches versus Cancer Classic 2024. We're here at Charlie's. It is packed. The libations are pouring effortlessly. We're setting record numbers for the amount of tenders that a lot of these coaches have consumed. And a couple guys I was able to actually pull away from the buffet table now join us here on BFA. Again, Guys, what an adventure, what an event, and year after year, y'all come back, and now we're joined by Coach Norman of the Holy Spirit Spartans, Coach Mark Petronani of the Cherokee Chiefs, and Millville's own Dan Fimiani, also a board member here at the Mainland Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. Guys, thanks for joining us. Coach Norman, since I'll start with you, since I'm a Holy Spirit alum, I'll let you bat first in this table here. I mean, how much do you and your guys look forward to this event year after year?
Oh, it's one of our favorite games of the year, and just thrilled to be a part of it every year. We were in it back when it was in Millville, and it's one of the highlights of our schedule, and getting to play a great team like Cherokee or all the other great teams we played over the years is just, it's an honor to be a part of. It's such a great cause, and all these guys do such a great job that, it's easy highlight of our schedule.
And, Mark, when you sign up, you look at the schedule, you guys are a big-time program, had a lot of success here in recent years. You take on an opponent at a conference like the Holy Spirit Spartans. Talk about how that is for your kids, where you're just playing in a totally different kind of universe from the South Jersey baseball scene for this one.
It's not. I mean, the first pitch that we throw every year really helps the kids sink in that, this is more than just baseball, and this is a special event that needs to be, that we need to be part of. We love playing, Billy Kern and Mike Edwards, what do you guys want to do? Whatever you guys need us to do. Put us wherever you need us. Probably on Saturday, because Sunday we might get some kickback from our school, but, as long as we're on Saturday, we're usually pretty good. And anything they want us to do, anything we can do to contribute to the event, we're on board. It's a very special tournament to us. I think we've been in it since the start. We go back to the Millville days with Roy and Ken and Mike, and we love being part of it.
Yeah. Coach Fimiani, again, you're kind of following suit. A public squad playing a private school. How does that factor in for you? Not one that we've seen Millville play a lot of under your leadership as of yet. So you're playing Bishop Eustace, arguably supposed to be one of the preseason top programs, as they normally are, with Coach Tropiano every single year. So how did you decide that this was a game you wanted to add to the schedule?
I mean, it's not really something that, you shy away from anything in this event. You want matchups that are competitive, that are tough, and I mean, we had Coach Petronani last year, and it was a heck of a game. Coach Tropiano is great program every year, but our kids look forward to this. It's a different atmosphere, and they kind of buy into the atmosphere, and they've been talking about it for months, who we play and I'm not telling them, who we play, who do we have, I want the game, pitchers, who wants this game, who wants that, I want CVC, let me get CVC. So having that is something that, is pretty special for the kids, and to be a part of this. Like, I've been a part of the board for a long time, all the way back when it was in Millville, before I was a part of either program, and it's pretty special to be a part of. And I know Coach Norman didn't say anything here, but Coach Norman is a new board member for us this year, so jumping in to do more for the cause.
Outstanding.
So we love having him around, another well-respected coach, a well-respected program, so we love that. And I believe the last time Millville played Bishop Eustace might have been in Coaches vs. Cancer back was at Millville in, I want to say, 2015.
Wow, there's some history there.
And there was, like I said, it's going to be a competitive game. You hope for the best both sides. We came away with the win 3-2 that year. We threw a sophomore, Ryan McIsaac, and we had a kid, Omar Moore, hit a go-ahead triple in I think the bottom of the sixth. So it's a little bit of history, not much, but
some quality recall by you.
It was an exciting game, and it was. So the reason I remember that is because back then Coach Edwards didn't coach during this game. He was always first base coach there,
right?
And I was the freshman coach. And he came to me. He's like, "Listen, dude, you're coaching. I'm not." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't coach." I'm like, "Okay, let's go. Giddy up." And it was really exciting. The kids played really well. It was a fun day.
So Coach Norman, Spartans going through a bit of a youth movement. This is one of those games with flashing lights, but you never shy away from trying to put your team on a big stage. And it seems to me that this is all preparation for, how do you make a run once you earn your spot into the playoffs. So, not only are you part of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, but you also go into the Autism Awareness weekend as well. So how do you try to get the kids' mindset right when most of them aren't going to have a ton of experience going into the big-time events?
Yeah, we have a little bit more experience than you realize. We've had some kids who are juniors now that have been playing since they were freshmen. But, there's going to be a lot of inexperience on the field for sure when we have a lineup out there. But yeah, I've been doing this since I got this job. My theory is you play the best you can in the regular season, and otherwise you're not prepared to do it in the postseason. So yeah, when Billy Kern said, what about Cherokee? All for it. We'll play anybody. Same way all these guys are that are sitting here. When they go up to Autism Awareness in North Brunswick, we played Christian Brothers before. We played some Pope John's big-time teams, and this year we have Del Barton. So can't really get a cupcake in any of these, but that's fine.
For a good cause.
And exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. That's 2 weekends in a row we have Cherokee and Del Barton. So, but again, we're going to play Gloucester Catholic in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So as many games as we can get that are at that caliber, we'll take them.
Yeah. Coach P, how's Cherokee looking this year? From what I understand, you now have another Brown. I thought that the Browns were all done, but yet there is another. He's coming.
Jason split time last year in the middle infield. At this point, he would be expected to take over for Evan at short. We're going to be a little bit inexperienced at the plate. The pitching, we return a lot of innings.
Yeah.
We have a lot of young guys that will be in the mix to push the older guys if there's a slip. So we have to lean on our pitching early, probably let some guys get their feet wet at the varsity level, and then see what happens by April 20th or April 21st, whichever the date is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
21st.
Cool.
21st.
All right, well, let's take another quick look at the schedule for those of us who join late on Saturday. And there it is, another, 8 games. I was talking about this when we first started the event. It was almost easy to get every coach who was involved on because there weren't a ton of games. Now I said we would be here for breakfast tomorrow if we actually went through it all. So yeah. I really want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight and stepping up and talking some good baseball. I know you're all excited, and we're excited to not only be here for you guys for Coaches versus Cancer, but as we roll out which will be a new record for us, a 50-game schedule this year for baseball on BFA Sports. All of your teams will certainly be featured on that a few times over, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to take away from the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, but 19 of the 50 will be here on this weekend. So
that's awesome.
Lots of baseball for baseball fans, and we're really looking forward to bringing it to you. So we're going to step away one more time here at Charlie's. Thanks to Jim and Jeff Thomas, the entire Thomas family being great hosts, bringing you some of the best food and libations in all of southern New Jersey and beyond. We'll be back right here at Charlie's coming up next on BFA Sports. Man, I can't believe I actually got these guys to put down the tenders to talk some baseball. But when it's the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, it's coming up in April. Well, tonight we're here at Charlie's. Want to thank the Charlie's crew for another fantastic evening of food, fun, and libations right here in Summers Point. For BFA Sports, Doug Stasic. I have the entire BFA Sports crew. My brother from another, Al Fisher, is on sabbatical, probably doing damage at a buffet somewhere. I'm sure of that. But for some guys that are also hungry for victories this season coming up, we got the Ocean City Red Raiders. We got the Jaguars of Jackson Memorial and the defending champions there from the Delsea Crusaders. That's right, Dewey Bristol. We got Coach Smith of Delsea, Coach George of Jackson Memorial. Guys, thanks for stepping up to the mic tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So, Coach Dewey, this is something that, well, it's a pretty, I guess it's you probably, I don't know if you or Smitty had the shortest commute to get here tonight. Is it pretty close?
It's probably.
Is it a toss-up?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
All right, so Ocean City right over the bridge. Coach, you've been involved in this event since, I think, the inception, as long as I know. It seems like it goes back quite a ways.
Since
When you moved to mainland?
Since I've been the head coach.
Okay, great.
So, 2017.
Yeah, time flies when you're certainly having fun.
Sure.
So last year you had a chance to play a team. It was, I think we called it I took a lot of heat for it, but I think I referred to it as the Shuby Special. There weren't a lot of people on the other side of the bridge that were happy about it, but nonetheless, we're going to take a look at the calendar for the matchups on Sunday. And the Cedar Creek Pirates will come into town at 9 o'clock. Cherry Hill West, the Lions taking on Clearview at 10. The Red Raiders taking on Coach Waz and the Lenape Tribe. The Williamstown Braves come to town, somebody that the Coach Smith is very familiar with from his heyday, taking on Rancocas Valley. The Holy War, St. Augustine Prep, and the Gloucester Catholic Rams in their traditional 2 o'clock slot. And the Minutemen of Washington Township taking on the Moorestown Quakers at 3. And as we lift the screen, Delsea versus Jacksonville Memorial to close it out. And that's going to be one that, end the contest with a bang. You guys, Group 4, Group 3, bragging rights on the line. Coach Smith, never hesitate to take on a big opponent.
No, Jackson, they always have a good program. We played them a lot when I was up with Toms River South, and between 7 and 11, they were very, very good, and they're still very good. So it's going to be a challenge.
Well, big year for Delsea. Didn't graduate a whole lot of guys, so you got to be feeling pretty good about the crew that you have coming back. It was a youth movement a couple years ago, but now you got a guy like George Starr that's still going to be able to throw the ball for you. You got a lot of commits that are playing college baseball. This is a big jump for you guys in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we have a great group of kids, great coaching staff, and we're excited. I mean, we got a lot of guys back. We got 5 kids who have been starting since they were freshmen. They're finally seniors, and we got some good arms too on top of George Starr. So, we're looking to compete.
Coach George, for Jackson Memorial, more of the same. You guys regenerate. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to still have a strong baseball community where those kids play throughout Little League, play the All-Star tournaments, and then when it comes time for high school, they stay in town and make our program stronger and better every year. And like Coach was saying with his kids, we still have a very good group of kids that have played young, a lot of freshmen that started for varsity. Now they're juniors, seniors, ready to prove themselves even more. And with going against, Coach Smith's Delsea team, which is year in, year out a Group 3 contender, it'll just make us hopefully better for the long run come state time, short conference time, even our county time too.
Regeneration of arms. So do you have a farm, Coach Bristol? Because it just seems like every year some kid comes in a red uniform and he can throw unbelievably. So what do you got going on in the Red Raiders farm?
Real fortunate. I get a lot of kids who grow up seeing pitching at Ocean City High School. So as a young kid, they say, I want to be a pitcher. And, we've been fortunate enough to have many kids come through, some big kids. So we have a couple back from last year, a couple younger kids. It's time for them to step up. And as long as I will have to face Coach Smith here, maybe we'll do something. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we were talking, about the fact that you got 2 Group 3 schools, you got a Group 4 school that's sitting at this table. Coach Kern is yet to grab the microphone tonight from Mainland, right. So I'm sure, Coach, even though your season ended in the bottom of the dog pile, Kern would probably be the first to remind you of what happened last year at this event. But
he's already reminded me about 10 times throughout the year.
So talk about the brotherhood, right? Like this is an event that brings everybody together, but you guys all come together a night like tonight, middle of a school week, to break bread, to break each other's chops. What's it like right now in the landscape of being a coach?
I mean, being a coach in the Cape Atlantic League and then in South Jersey. So Cape Atlantic League, I feel like I'm friends with every single coach in that league. They're all class guys, good friends of mine. And then you bring it even further into South Jersey, into the Olympic Conference. Some great guys. I'm fortunate enough to coach with Coach Kern on the Carpenter Cup team and coach with some of those other guys. And like Coach Smith and then Coach Gore and just great guys that just you want to compete against them. You want to give your best because you're going to get their best. But the respect level is so high with everybody that you enjoy the beginning of the season, and you look forward to not just playing them but seeing your friends.
Yeah. Coach George, so you guys come down the Parkway to play ball in this big event. So talk to me about, you've taken on Bishop Eustace in this event. Now you take on a defending state champion in a group. What draws you and your squad to come down the Parkway and want to brawl here?
Well, like Coach was saying before, being from a conference, we're from the Shore Conference, it's good to get outside of your comfort zone and outside of the Shore Conference and come see what baseball is like in other parts of the state. And down here, South Jersey baseball is a juggernaut with your Olympic Conference, your Cape Atlantics, your Colonials, things like that. So, like Coach was saying also, this is a family community. I mean, you go table to table, bar stool to bar stool. You're talking to coaches that you've come to become friends with. Like me and Kingsway, we have a very good rivalry now. We're playing each other in the regular season, home and home series. That started because of this. Yeah. And I thank this event for that because now we're branching out even more, and hopefully we can get more coaches to, have series with us and just have new friendships along the way and kind of just grow this more and more every year.
Yeah, well, listen, I love the fact that you guys year after year look forward to this tradition. You come back. I think the addition of the beef and beer a couple seasons ago really made this a little bit even more special because you get a chance to kind of rekindle the relationship, catch up, and then it's go time in just a couple weeks. And you'll be happy to know, Coach, that myself, my brother from another Al Fisher, we actually now have an RV set up outside of Ocean City. So we're going to be closer to you the whole season. We're going to be closer to you for the summer league, and we're looking forward to if you got any Red Raider gear, who knows, we might wear it.
I always have some for you.
All right, all good. All right, well, listen, I've got a couple more coaches that, as I was parading around between innings, as I'll call it, that we want to catch up with. So for Audubon fans or for the Highland fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a seat and catch up with Coach Rich Horan of Audubon, the Big Green Wave, and, of course, DJ Gore of the Highland Tartans. They're coming up next right here on BFA Sports. Charlie's right here in Summers Point. That's right. We're inside, we're outside. Place is jam-packed and all for a great cause for the kickoff of the 2024 Mainland Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Doug Stasic, the BFA crew, now joined by, well, some coaching royalty, both in not just the Coaches versus Classic event, but in all of South Jersey lore. Highland Tartan head coach DJ Gore, the Mainland Mustangs, Billy Kern, and the Audubon Green Wave, Rich Horan. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm surprised my phone, coach, isn't blowing up from your buddy Dan Wilkins, who loves to broadcast all of the Audubon games. I'm sure he's going to be all over me to call for you to get a chance to call that game for you this time around as well. But coach, thanks for making the drive down from Audubon. We know that you get to kick this thing off on Friday night.
Yeah,
on Paul the 6th.
It's an enjoyable tournament. We came in last year, and the kids had fun, coaches have fun, and it's a great thing because you're playing the best of the best in South Jersey and North Jersey.
Yeah, and tradition, DJ, this is certainly an event for baseball fans that have been not only following the Highland program, but for this event over the course of the years. This is an event, and I always like to repeat it because I think your story is one that really brings home the true essence of what this is all about. You and your team take the field in memory of your mom, who was phenomenal when she was battling. I always say she was like the ultimate baseball mom because it didn't matter if it was her kids or your kids or that kid. Everybody's kid was her kid, and this is something that your family looks forward to each and every single year because you get a chance to kind of bring up some of those great memories.
Yeah, we'll always be forever grateful to Billy and to Mike for inviting us, years down. We made this a goal of our families to get there, and unfortunately, we didn't get there for the first year. But it's amazing that we're in year 6 of this, and we're able to kind of bring back my mom every year during this time. And I'm so appreciative of you guys and everything that Billy's been able to do for our family and Mike as well. And it's just a marquee day for our family to remember my mom and my team to kind of surround me with that love that they always bring. It's always a special day for us all.
Yeah, I love the stories and the traditions and the way that people, they look forward to it. The memory piece of it, I think, is critical. But now, as I was coming over here, and I feel like I'm getting, aging myself, but now I've covered players over the last probably 5 or 6 years that are now full-blown, adults holding the fort down. A kid like Logan Petty grabs me and he's like, "Hey, Coach Doug, what's going on?" And it's so great to be here. Coach Horan, you guys travel quite a distance to get down here, but the throngs of people that are wearing the green shirts and they're wearing the green jerseys, and this is something that, you get to travel and bring all the families with you. So what is that like?
I think, we established something in Audubon that, we're pretty much a baseball town.
Oh, yeah.
And it's enjoyable to see the people come out, you play, and they're all in on coming to watch us play. Home games, away games, and tournaments and stuff like this because, it's a baseball town.
Oh, no question. So, Coach Kern, this thing has evolved to something that I don't think you really anticipated. Mike Edwards joins your staff. He brings over this phenomenal program to come along with it. And now, as a board member of Coaches versus Cancer, and to see the progression, and, I kind of laughed because the first year that we were involved and we kind of decided to have like a coaches show and reveal the schedule, I got every coach on with no issue, right? Now this year, I look at the schedule, you guys hit me up and they're like, well, we want to go to 19 games. We want to be 38 teams. And oh, by the way, on the first Friday, we're going to be playing in 3 different places at the same time. Can you guys handle it? But it's hard to say no, right?
So the interesting thing for us is we actually, when Mike joined my staff, we met right over here. We sat together to talk baseball, and the last thing we talked about was this event and what we were going to do with it, and how I basically said to him, like, look, I love what you're doing in Millville, but we're going to keep getting bigger and getting bigger and getting bigger, and watch how this thing's going to grow. I know this community is going to support it, and in terms of the growth the last couple of years, we don't want to turn any teams away, and we don't want to make it some sort of exclusive event that the same select teams play. We have our teams that have been with us from the start, but always trying to get the best competition. Baseball towns like Rich's. DJ's been, we've been close friends for a really long time, and the guys that, I just saw Glennie walk by. He's traveling 100 miles down here, and Jackson guys are here. It brings the community together. The baseball coaches are different, and I coach a couple sports, and the rivalries and the way some coaches go about things in other sports is just not there for baseball. It's respect. It's the kids first and the cause first. And we had to shift the game today. We had a scheduling issue with snow days. 3 coaches within 5 minutes. Whatever you need. You just don't get that in some other sports, and everybody here is their kids first, their community first, and this cause first. And honestly, I think that's the most important thing to Mike and I, is that everybody that comes is about this cause, and is about the scholarships, and is about American Cancer Society, and as much burden as we put on you is the same burden we put on Jimmy Conover and those umpires. Those extra games, those guys are doing it for free all weekend long. Yeah. And it's just, we can't do it without them. We can't do it without guys like Gary Britt getting the field ready. So there's just so many moving parts, but so many selfless people. So we're appreciative of you. We're appreciative of Rich and DJ and all these guys in the room, and the coaches at home that couldn't make it. But it's grown, and it's going to keep growing. We have some other ideas. I know you were at our last couple meetings, and we're not a small 2-man operation by any stretch. We have a ton of help and a ton of guys that really make this thing go.
Yeah, and so for those that are joining maybe a little bit late tonight, or you're kind of bouncing in and out, I'll just kind of reiterate some of the cool things that are now coming up. I had just shared with Coach Kern and with Mike Edwards earlier today that our guy Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, through the gracious executives that are over there, they've agreed that we will be actually airing some of the games on 97.3 ESPN Live on the 97.3 ESPN app. Of course, Mike Gill will always be, in the driver's seat. He'll be calling some of the games. We're really excited to add that piece. The week leading up to the event, he'll be interviewing some of the coaches, some of the players, getting some of the stories that'll be live on the air on the Sports Bash between 2 and 6 p.m. That week leading up. So, this thing constantly kind of evolves. And, speaking of an evolution and the kind of fraternity and the brotherhood, DJ, you, Coach Kern, you guys end up kind of crossing paths when it comes to the Carpenter Cup a lot of times. And so you get a chance to see a lot of the players on some of these illustrious rosters right there smack dab in the middle of the season. So talk about kind of how the connection that you guys have always had in CBC is kind of now evolved and what you guys do at Carpenter.
Wow, I think our success in the Carpenter Cup's been able to take off, obviously, because of the connection and the rapport that we've been able to build over the years. Being involved with the Carpenter Cup over the past 15 years, and a franchise would change over from year to year with people running in this. And I can say for the past, 6-7 years, we've been the two people that have kind of been put together, and I think that's why it's been able to take off. And we're blessed with athletes and baseball players between the Tri-Cape, between both conferences. We've just been fortunate to we've got the best seat in the house. And to make a final for 3 straight years, I think, shows on the talent level that we have in our conference. And a lot of those players you're going to see, they're going to play in this tournament through the 3 days here. Yeah. So you get to showcase and get to see them here for the first time early on in the year, and then hopefully you get to see them later on at the end of May, early June in the Carpenter Cup.
Outstanding. Coach Rand, have you seen the preview to the new field that's over there at Mainland?
No.
Because you have some pretty nice confines in Audubon. But
yes.
All right, well, since maybe some people didn't see it, you can keep going, but Sam, let's roll the video so people can kind of see some of the updates and the changes. Coach Fimiani was cool enough to put together kind of a photo collage, but we can keep going.
When we decided to when we found out that we were going to play at Mainland, I'm like, play at the
field, right?
the field, and then they changed it. It's great. It's a situation where we're win-win.
Yeah. And Coach Kern, I mean, you talk about a community coming together, right? And so you know that the fine folks at the Tuckahoe Turf Farm, at Site 1 Excavation, Marone Irrigation, and they're always looking to give back to the community and do great things, but probably a little bit of an extra incentive knowing that this particular field is also going to pay dividends for a great cause in Coaches versus Cancer. Had to be a pretty easy sell.
Yeah, it started with conversation at Tuckahoe, and when you talk about stories and people touched, the Betts family is touched, has been impacted by this disease, and that's where the conversation started, getting the ball rolling, and then obviously Site 1 stepped up, Tuckahoe steps up, Marone Irrigation, and none of this is really possible also without, we have a great administration from our superintendent Mark Marone, our athletic director Mike Alley. They let you go, and then we talk, and they're just supportive. They kind of are trusting enough to know, hey, we're going to figure this out. This is going to be good for us in the long run. We've had tremendous support inside the building, and then how this field has come together, we're excited. It looks fantastic. And then Gary and his entire outside maintenance crew who joined our board as well. We kind of recognized a couple years in that it can't be like it can't be just a conversation. This is what we need. We needed a 12-month commitment from everybody. So Gary jumping on has really helped. And then looking at the scoreboard we hung to, that's Myers Builders. That was also directly related to our Coaches vs. Cancer event. So we've just been really fortunate to have a lot of really, really supportive businesses and families that care deeply about this cause and want to see as much positive in our community as possible.
Well, nothing but lots of love that's certainly in the room. So many different levels. I'm excited. We're definitely looking forward to it. Matter of fact, this has kind of forced our hand a little bit on the BFA side. So a lot of people familiar with the BFA hauler, and that'll certainly be out there in center field. But we're building a smaller portable studio that'll be actually debuted the weekend of the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic, and that'll be right behind the JV field too. So pull up, drop the tailgate, you got monitors, you got a 4-channel instant replay system, some really cool stuff. We're going to be broadcasting 50 baseball games this year throughout South Jersey, so we're going to set another record. Certainly all of your teams will be on it multiple times over, and I'm not going to take away from the Coaches vs. Cancer schedule here. 19 of the 50 will be in the CVC this year. So
I would also, and I know you feel this way, I'd be remiss to not mention Alex Trezza and Game Changer, who have stepped up to the plate to just sponsor the entire event. We have a flagship sponsor now, and that Game Changer platform, which pretty much everyone in South Jersey is using, New Jersey is using, is going to be the platform for streaming the entire weekend. And Alex and Game Changer believes in what we're doing, and we're excited for that partnership, and it's really going to help us with our goal down the road to give more to American Cancer Society, give more scholarships to these student athletes in our event that have been affected by this disease.
Yeah, and there's a saying that, karma, it can be or karma can really kind of come around, but something I probably haven't really broadcasted a whole lot, but behind the scenes, Billy, I know you're certainly aware of it. You mentioned Game Changer, you mentioned Alex Trezza. A couple of years ago when we first started to broadcast these games and Game Changer wanted to be a part of it, I had come into contact with Alex by chance, and we said, hey, we could probably take our broadcast, what you guys do through one phone, and maybe put it on your platform. Well, that good deed, just to kind of do what was right for the kids and make it a little bit of a cooler experience. Fast forward to this past Saturday, and these guys right here have some weary eyes because they've been on the road for a week. We actually, I'm struggling. I'm going to be honest. This is like, for me, one of the dreams come true. We go from Coaches versus Cancer, broadcasting South Jersey High School baseball, to these guys here broadcast a Division I college tripleheader on the Major League Baseball Network on Saturday. I was totally blown away, and that doesn't happen if it's not for doing good things with great guys like yourselves for the kids and for families at the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. it's just amazing. So I'm so happy to be, a very small part of it. But I'm very grateful in so many different ways for, all that you guys have done for us, and always willing to let us try new things and give other kids opportunities.
Thank you.
And can't, like I said,
and like you said, these guys, it's the same faces. This is not a production crew for tonight. These are all the same guys that when we're getting water off the field, they're setting up. So we appreciate you guys very much, and I hope you know from Mike and I and our entire board how much the success of this event is as much the guys behind the cameras as the guys that get to sit in front of it.
No doubt.
But what I think is great about this and anything else, these coaches involved they'll go anywhere and play anybody, any place, and that makes it so much easier for me as a coach, because we'll call each other up and say, can we fit this game in? Yeah, let's try to do it, because they want to play the best of the best, and that's how you win championships, and that's how you win state championships.
Wow, no question. Coach Gore, over to you.
Yeah, like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. I said the platform that you guys put us on, I mean, we've all seen everything through the media and everything, but this is something totally different. My kids will talk about it from year to year, where they're able to go back videos and see at-bats and see different things that you've created on that platform. And again, from the South Jersey coaches, I don't think it's ever gone unnoticed, but it's something that we've come accustomed to, and I don't think the event has been able to grow where it's been able to grow to without your help and your team's help. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for all you've done.
It's a partnership that I'm beyond proud of. It really is, and a lot of people don't, I think, really understand that BFA started with a cell phone behind a backstop. In 2018. It was just about, can we get a video of a couple kids and maybe get a couple of news stories that are covered out of it. And so, where we're at now, it's just I said this to Coach Kern. I said this to Mike Edwards from the beginning. I'm like, to me, it's never going to be a question of what it's going to take to make this thing happen, because without Coaches versus Cancer, and without all of you guys from the baseball fraternity of all these South Jersey high school, coaches, we're nothing. Like I don't get to live my dream if it's not for you guys, the kids, and the families and the businesses. The businesses that support this thing are just, insanely awesome. So I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We got one more segment. You mentioned Coach Glenn. He came from Texas, I think, to get here. So I want to make sure that we get him on, and then we'll come back with some of the board members.
Not only did he come, but these two guys, scheduling is easy for this event because, like Coach said, we put it out. Everybody says yes, but to get two guys that'll play off-site is enormous for us.
Oh yeah,
they're both going to be in Margate, and we're looking forward to that.
Well, war at the shore.
War at the shore.
All right, we'll be right back from Charlie's here on BFA Sports. And we're back from Charlie's, and man, oh man, having an awesome time here with the crew, Doug Stasic, and now joined by a guy that I think has a helicopter that's somewhere out on the helipad by the hospital, maybe. I think they have a helipad, Coach.
I would have got here a lot quicker.
Glennie Fredericks from Spotswood. So, Coach, appreciate you coming all the way down, and as we kind of get into the waning hours of the broadcast, we appreciate you being here. And for South Jersey baseball fans, they certainly recognize the guy with the $1 million smile and Mike Adams of the Baseball Performance Center, and certainly not too many moons ago was had his cup of coffee with the Philadelphia Phillies, and of course finished out a season last year with the Lancaster Barnstormers on the hill. So, Mike, welcome home. I know you're a guy that talked about put some miles on.
Glad to be back.
So, Coach, another year for Spotswood being in the event. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Nah, it's great to be back. It's great to be welcomed back by so many awesome people. Last year was such a great experience for myself as a coach. The kids in our program were ecstatic to be a part of such a great event. A great opponent last year, Audubon. I'm sure Highland Regional will be another great game for us. The event speaks for itself. It's really easy to rally around a cause like this. Everybody's been, touched in some way, shape, or form by this cancer. For us to be able to go out in front of so many, people who love the game, love the sport, and do what we love to do in Spotswood. It's a blessing, and I'm really happy to be back. Can't wait to get it going again.
Yeah. And Mike, you're the one that's kind of brought it full circle. You played in this event back in your days at the old Holy Spirit stomping grounds over there, and now, I was talking to some of the guys about, hey, do you get a chance to get out and go to spring training and get to these things? So I had a chance to see you at Philly spring training, last year wearing the top reds, and it was phenomenal. So you've played in all these big, different environments on all different levels up to the professional ranks. How does it compare? If for the average player, how does it compare?
I mean, it's definitely an event that in this area, it's something that the players look forward to. I feel like as a high school player, you don't get to see the players in your area play together very often. So when you can kind of put it all together, in one place and have all your peers watching you, it's pretty cool. And I mean that's I feel like when I'm playing, the only people that I get up for games more when I know family, friends are coming, even if there's a lot of people there. But it's crazy to see how much it's grown, even in just the 2 or 3 years that I've been gone for it. I mean, it was just the one field, a couple years ago, and now seeing it grow to 2 fields and 19 games or 38 teams.
38 teams, crazy.
It's crazy, and it's awesome. And there's not a cause better, and obviously a great group of guys that run it. So it's pretty cool to see how far it's coming and where it's going to go.
And Coach, so for you guys to make the trek down, we were talking about now a Hall of Fame level sponsorship with Game Changer. How much do the kids enjoy the coverage of the game? There's from a baseball standpoint in the New Jersey baseball circuit, I mean, this thing has a lot of eyes on it.
It sure does. We've been using Game Changer for a number of years now. I mean, we're going back probably 5 or 6 years, and the stuff that Alex does with this event alone, that he showed me avenues on that platform that I had no idea existed. So we're gonna go. We're going to go to distance with it this year. I think we're going to live stream all of our games. We haven't been doing that. But, I mean, I got to give a shout-out to our stat girls at home. Like, they do an awesome job keeping the game on the computer as well as the book. And, if we could get people that can't make a game because of the time of the game or whatever reason that they can't make it, if we can give them a look at, what, their brothers or their kids are doing on the field, we're going to do that. And I think Game Changer is a great way to do that.
Fantastic. Mike, this is to that point. The game has evolved. It's a very data-driven league. You guys at the Baseball Performance Center certainly pride yourselves on being able to collect data, utilize it, kind of translate it, which some people ultimately, struggle with. So talk about the coverage of the high school baseball scene since you were coming up through the ranks, and now, you're in a position that you kind of had an opportunity to more or less like reinvent your own game by putting into practice a lot of the things that you've been teaching. So your place is packed with these kids that are watching tonight trying to figure out, hey, is our team actually going to be in this event? So what does it mean to them when you get a chance to work with them and train with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's cool to see, you know, a lot of the guys that we have compete against each other as well. Like, I think that's, you know, kind of what makes it fun. And, you know, when I was in high school, this was one of the only events where you're playing against, you know, local teams where it has more than just a standard game. So it's definitely cool to see. I mean, you know, a lot of the stuff on the recruiting end, that's why, you know, it being broadcasted is huge, because we're trying to have them get video and get content that they can send out to colleges, and every single time they send out, it's a highlight from one of these games or something that, you know, BFA covers, and it's huge. It makes it easier for us. It helps them get exposed. So it's an event that I think, you know, obviously it's for a good cause, but it helps the players in a number of ways too.
Yeah. So, Coach, I mean, this event, obviously, it hits close to home for you, close to home for some of your players and your families. What is it you're hearing from some of these families to know that this is something that you make the commitment, you bring the team as far as you do year after year to make sure that they participate in it, because you've always been the one to give the message of like, hey, there's things that are bigger than the game, but this is something that brings, you know, I always say there might be 38 teams in this event, but they're all here for the same reason.
All for the same reason. And like I said before, truly an honor to represent, you know, the town that I grew up in. Like, our players are ecstatic that we have been asked to come back. Again, 38 teams, a ton of teams, but again, not everybody that wants to play in this. I guarantee you, if you asked 100 teams, you'd have 100 teams in it.
Yeah.
Right? So that just says a lot about the overall message of what we're doing here, and what, you know, Bill and Mikey put together, you know, throughout this whole entire thing. It speaks volumes about you know, kids and their drive to want to play for something more than just a 7-inning baseball game.
Yeah.
And you know, like Coach said, you know, it's good to get out and play teams from, you know, outside your area. When you're playing the same teams over and over again, it could get a little stale from time to time. And we're going to come down here. We're going to play, I think, a Camden County team that our kids have never even heard of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're always looking forward to new challenges. And this is a great cause. We also, you know, we've been invited to the Thank You Classic this year. You know, I believe that's a jump off from what we did down here last year.
Sure.
So we'll be playing in Belmar this year as
That's
well.
great.
And the Autism Awareness Weekend. Like, our kids are on display, and each one of those experiences takes on a life of itself for each game. They're non-league games, but they mean the world to our kids.
Yes. Cool. Well, listen, Coach, I want to thank you for joining us. Mike, keep up the great work, man.
Good to meet you, Coach.
Paving the way for so many South Jersey baseball players and beyond, the guys over at the Baseball Performance Center. And if you haven't checked out their new venue at the former home of the Tuckahoe Brewery, you don't know what you are missing. It is spectacular, and it's like Boise State in there. It's the bluest turf you've ever seen in your life.
It is straight blue everywhere.
All right, we're going to step away for fans of Cedar Creek and Southern. We got Coach Truitt and Coach Flattery coming up, and then we'll wrap it up with the Coaches versus Cancer board members. Don't go away. More action from Charlie's coming up next. Charlie's. Man, we are live again. The libations continue to pump out from the bar right there in the middle of the room. The tenders, always phenomenal. The food, you just can't beat it. So speaking of guys that you just can't beat, well, now I'm joined by none other than Southern Rams coach Ed Truitt and Cedar Creek Pirates head coach Ryan Flannery. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate the event. It's awesome.
No better way to celebrate on a Wednesday.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday. It's all right.
Thursday.
You got the wings. The wings got you thinking Wednesday, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. But kind of a different, tradition. It has a little spin. Last couple of years, I've had a chance to do this beef and beer type of setup, and they're talking a lot about the fraternity of coaches, where you guys all kind of get a chance to catch up before you get back into the thick of the season. Couple new faces, couple guys, new places. So, Coach Truitt, we'll start with you. You guys return again to the event, and now it's a must put on the calendar.
Without a doubt. I think it's a great event that we've been our second year involved.
Yeah, you're good. We'll get you tuned up here.
So second year involved. Last year, I think Billy reached out mid-season, and it's definitely something we want to return to. Like you said, this event that we have here, we can get together as coaches. Some of us coached together before, coached against each other, different conferences, divisions. It's a great thing to be a part of, and really, it's something bigger than the game of baseball. And to try and get the kids involved and teach them something bigger than baseball is also very important.
Yeah, and listen, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they're here for the bigger cause, and they're seeing bigger picture. And sometimes we always talk about, you think you had a bad day at the plate, or you think you had a bad outing on the mound, and you're just like, guys, this is a huge reminder of just about yes, the thing we all love about baseball is that it's not supposed to be easy. There's going to be a lot more failures than there are going to be successes, but having a bad game, it's a whole different ball game than someone who's battling that capacity. So, good stuff, Coach.
Yeah,
the Pirates.
Let's go.
Sailing in. And this is something that now you guys are getting a chance to partake in, and I know it's something you're very passionate about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the game of baseball is meant to break you down, and anytime that you can play the game, it's a good day. And to see what the people go through battling cancer, obviously they're fighting. So any day that you're able to play a game of baseball it's a good day.
Yeah. No, and so talk about for the guys that are over there at Cedar Creek, right? This is something that you see a lot of other teams get a chance to participate in. You get the call, and you're like, how? There's no way we're not going to be in this one.
Yeah, no. So obviously the event has grown over the last couple of years. So we're excited to be a part of it, represent Cedar Creek and our community in Egg Harbor City. Shout out to Billy for getting us in there, but. I think we got a lot to prove. We've been Cedar Creek. We've been knocking on the door the last couple of years. We have two 19-win seasons. So we're trying to get our name on the map, and obviously this is a showcase tournament. So hopefully we can perform well in front of the audience here.
Yeah. Coach Truitt, you guys last year showed some power with the bats, a good offensive display. Got a lot of returners. It looks like on that roster this year.
Yeah, we got a decent amount of returners. 5 specific guys. We got Brian Harper, shortstop, utility guy. Brady Leshak plays some third base pitching for us. We got another pitcher in Roger Dreyer. We got Gabe Tomei behind the plate, and Ray Mulhern out in the outfield.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Some well-known names, guys that are going to get some new reps.
Yeah. So there's a few that are we have looking forward to. Some juniors, some sophomores. See how the season plays out and go from there. But definitely, really trying to build a culture there too.
Yeah.
Being the third year that I'm there.
And Coach Flannery, the Pirates have been known for the last couple of seasons for the arms. Are you still pretty stacked with the righties?
Yeah, so we do have a good rotation. There's going to be some guys battling for spots, but like I said, you can never have too many arms. We go through stretches where we play 6-7 games, in a week with the double headers. So you tell the guys to be ready, and the number can be called whenever. It is nice to have arms, so you keep the leash short. Which the kids might not like, but from a coaching ass point, you can get the next guy in and ready to go in the bullpen. So we do have a set of arms. Hopefully our offense can pick it up, and then we can see where it takes us in the playoffs.
So this is the kind of event, too, that's going to set you guys up pretty nice. So the obviously goal is get into the playoffs, be able to make a run. But when you have the lights turned on in this capacity, it's kind of rare, right? I mean, in the high school landscape of things that, the bus rolls up, you come rolling out, the place is packed, there's teams all over the place, buses from other teams. You're kind of measuring yourself up against some of the guys you're waiting to see. So that's kind of a cool environment to kind of get them ready for a much bigger run.
Without a doubt, especially being early mid-season, some of the guys, they know each other from different teams, whether it be travel ball or whatever it is. They go to different showcases, and to then show up to this event, like you said, the buses roll out, and you got 6 to 8 teams all there at one point, and some teams hang out after their game, or before their games, whatever it might be. So a showcase, I think it's a great event, and it does bring some of the talent out and allows those players to go to the next level.
Yeah. Coach, same thing for the Pirates.
Yeah, it gets the kids comfortable playing in big time stages, and at the end of the day, the goal is to make our way to compete for sectional titles. The both programs we run, so they got to get comfortable playing in big time games. So to do this early in the year to get them familiar with it, get them comfortable with it, and then you learn from some of the mistakes that you may make in those situations, and then hopefully by the time playoff comes, that those things are ironed out and you can make a little run.
Well, nothing wrong with that. And speaking of making a run, looks like we're about to run into the home stretch. So, again, 38 teams, 19 games across, 3 different complexes. It feels like this time go around. Appreciate you guys signing up and supporting the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. For those of you at home, if you want to help us strike out cancer, you can do so from now until the end of the event. You can make any kind of donation, big or small, at Mainland Baseball-CVC on Venmo, or you can scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen. So, Coach Truitt, Coach Flannery, thank you, gentlemen. Wishing you the best of luck in the campaign. And see you in a couple weeks here at Mainland. We'll be right back from Charlie's, everybody. Welcome back to Charlie's as we're closing things out. If it were a professional game, this would be the bottom of the ninth. For BFA Sports, Doug Stasic now joined by Kingsway head coach Bill Alvaro. Coach, thanks for joining us. And, of course, Billy Kern and founder of the Mainland Coaches vs. Cancer Classic, Mr. Mike Edwards. So, Coach, you know, you got the Kingsway hat rocking. You guys have been in a couple years of Kingsway, but this kind of goes back to your Minutemen days when you were at Washington Township. This event means the world to you.
It does. It's something we look forward to every year. And when they first started it, when I was at Washington Township, I was one of the first guys to say, we're in.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a great event. And it's grown so much. It's been unbelievable. These guys have done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, there's no denying that. For the Kingsway squad, you know, you guys love to come on down here. The following that you have is always phenomenal. And we were talking in the last segment about seeing all these buses roll up, but it seems like buses, flags, magnets on cars. I mean, people know Kingsway is a group that travels really well. And talk about how the families enjoy, because there's a lot of festivities now that go on at Coaches vs. Cancer beyond just the game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Kingsway family, obviously, the whole community is growing, and our administration is very pro-athletic, and you can see the success we've had in Group 4 and Group 5 with all of our sports, fall, winter, spring. Parents are very involved, and they do a great job. You know, and to come out here, and like I said, there's so many different things to get involved with this that, you know, everybody enjoys it.
Yeah. And Coach Kern, you know, you go from a handful of matchups to now you guys have 38 teams that are coming to campus over a 3-day, you know, set period. How difficult is it, because you're kind of the one that everyone leans on for the matchups, that seems to be like a different type of pressure?
So that's probably the only thing of the whole event that Mike and I kind of hone in on together and don't like put it out to the board, because we made some mistakes over the years of what do you guys think, and then it's 400 messages and then we're back to square one. So Mike and I sat down this summer, and basically we have the list, and then we kind of have to have the last 2 or 3 years, because we try to have a class graduate before those matchups. Outside of prep and Gloucester Catholic has kind of established itself as like the marquee Sunday game, but I think the nice thing is that South Jersey baseball is growing, and Mike and I were talking about it yesterday. There's not bad matchups in this year's event. Everybody's really talented. Everybody has a shot in their group, and the nice thing, and I know Mike can attest to this too, is that everybody says yes, whoever you want to play. And I think when you talk to some other coaches in some other sports, that's not always the case. Fill in schedules and things like that. So I know it's one thing that we never have a headache with in terms of getting this event squared away.
So Mike, it's wide open this year, right? Like we were talking about who were the top teams in South Jersey. It's kind of hard to make that pecking order. The parity.
Yeah, we were just talking, Mark and I, about Cherokee and all the animals he's got coming in, and with Group 3 is just a gauntlet anymore, and obviously Group 4 speaks for itself. The top of Group 4 is just, you know, anyone can win on any given day. You got phenomenal arms on the mound. You got big time, you know, Power 5 arms. You got pro arms on the mound as high school kids, and it's cool when they participate in the event too, because you know it helps kind of draw some attention. But the matchups, man, I actually was talking to Billy. I texted him out of the blue, completely out of the blue. We were talking about something. I just said, "Yo, man, I got to tell you, like, I just looked at the schedule again, man. This is awesome." And every game I looked at, I'm like, man, it's a Group 4 school here. It's a sectional finalist here, and a short conference, powerhouse here. And it's a testament, like I said earlier when I was on, to the fraternity of guys. We've been coaching against each other for so long, and we compete so hard. But man, when we get together that weekend, it's just a different animal.
I think the nice thing too, Doug, and Mike and I talk about it a lot, everybody sets their pitching up for that weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So there's conference games that you'll see some guys the 2 through or the 3 through, and then when we get to that weekend, and he kind of got on me the first year when we were setting our matchups up. He was like, no, we got to have our guy ready to go Friday night.
Yep.
And I think that's what we've kind of seen is that you're going to be there and your guys are going to be there, and it's going to be broadcast, and it's going to matter for rankings, and everyone brings their 1 or 2. You don't see, nobody pitches off at our event, which is really, really nice to see because the matchups are real. They're true to what the ability of the teams are.
Well, I think it's a big testament to these two guys and what they do as to why when they call to say, hey, do you want to be in this, everybody says yes.
Right.
They just do a phenomenal job. And like you said, if you look at all these matchups, we always set our pitching up for this game because to me it reminds me of the old days when the semifinals of the Diamond Classic were on a Saturday and everybody in South Jersey was there.
Right.
Everybody in South Jersey is going to be down at Mainland that weekend, and you want to go out there with your best.
We have a bunch of coaches, and I know you did it last year. You were watching Overbook, but we had guys there all day. You have a lawn chair. We have some guys with notebooks, and some guys are. Well, thankfully, you've kind of taken away from the scouting, which is nice. People don't have to travel as much. But if you walk around the outfield that day, you see coaches that even if you're not in the event or you played on Saturday, we see a lot of them back on Sunday, which is nice. And it's just kind of become the South Jersey place to be for quality matchups, and we're excited for another great slate this year.
Yeah, and we're excited to be a part of it. I had mentioned a couple times throughout the broadcast tonight, 97.3 ESPN has now stepped up. They're going to be able to broadcast some of the games live, carried on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Mike Gill, host of the Sports Bash, the week leading up to the event, he'll be doing interviews with some of the coaches, teams, the players, and of course, all this isn't possible if it's not for the great support of so many businesses that are out there that are willing to step up and contribute. Mike, and there's still sponsorships that are available.
Yeah, if there's people out there that know someone, or we have sponsorship levels from as little as $100 to be involved, all the way up to a couple grand, and every little bit helps, and it's just awesome. There is no value in terms of everything's appreciated. Big, small. We get product donations a lot. Our families here at Mainland, they contribute so much for our concession stands. It's just so many people give, and that's what makes it us able to give back to the kids, and for them to earn scholarships and things like that, and help these families that are going through tough times. But the amount of support, like you said, with businesses and everything, it's phenomenal. But we don't have a limit, that's for sure. We'll take anything from anyone. We just love the support, and we love the relationships that it develops too. It's huge.
And if you're out there on an individual level, you can spare a couple dollars, contribute. You can hit it right now on Venmo at Mainland Baseball-CVC, where you can scan the QR code in the bottom right of your screen. Just take a screenshot of it with your phone. It'll take you right there. Coach Alvaro, appreciate you being back again. And again, nobody better to close it with than the guy that's been here with a bit of longevity, that's for sure. Guys, any last words of wisdom, call to action before we wrap things up from Charlie's and I get to finally eat some tenders?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put into words, but we're incredibly grateful to everyone who contributes to what we do. It's a collective effort from a lot of guys, a lot of sacrifices from the guys that work for our staff, a lot of sacrifices from their families, their wives, their kids. So, again, it's a testament to the guys and what the cause is and what the purpose behind all this is. And, as far as, how I can kind of tie things up, it's just, just to express my gratitude to everyone that contributes and participates, and big, small, no matter what, it's part of what makes us be able to do this, and we're grateful.
And we're grateful that your hair is looking a little long, because come April 4th, if anybody wants to inflict any, and I'll call it pain, embarrassment, or any of those things along the line.
All of that works, yep.
Okay. So last year, you had a challenge by a couple of, we'll call it anonymous sources that challenged you for a monetary donation to shave your head, which you willfully did, thanks to our friends at Darcy, Johnson & Day, a law firm over there in Northfield. So you're raising the ante, if you will, and any of us that are out there might know our friend Tommy Zanaris and crew. You can get a hold of Tommy, one of the mainland faithful over there, and for a significant maybe.
Mr. Z puts on a good show over there at DJD. We're really lucky to have them, and I get quite a bit of ribbon from the guys for my hair, and I'll grow it out as long as it'll grow. If it means making a couple bucks, and I can turn it around and give it to some kid who needs some little extra push to get to school. If I have to look like an idiot for a little bit, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So again, reach out to the Mainland Coaches versus Cancer Classic. More information on that. That event is April 4th.
We'll have all that tomorrow. Once we do our thank yous, things like that, we'll turn the page to the season in April. We'll have all that out on our socials. And I just want to give a special thanks to Jeff and Jimmy here. They turn their restaurant over to us every year, and we can't be more appreciative for not just tonight. Anyone that's in our community knows that if you need anything from Jeff or Jimmy and the Charlie's family, that they're all in for Mainland and all in for kids. So we do appreciate them. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows their impact that they have on our event as well.
Yeah, and shout out to our BFA crew. These guys always step up time and again. I told the story on one of the last segments. These guys are a little weary after being away for the better part of a week down in Florida. And listen, it all started right here with the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Good things happen to good people who are part of good teams. And if we weren't out broadcasting games, we probably would have never met some of the individuals that gave us a shot. And believe it or not, our little mom and pop organization last weekend had a chance to broadcast on the MLB network. And that doesn't happen if it's not for so many people behind the scenes to do so many amazing things. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Billy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
And tonight's producer, the intern. Well, he was the intern, but he got promoted. Mr. Sam Burns, nephew of Johnny Monell Sr. It's a little baseball flavor
All right.
behind the podium. The legend Charles Hope is behind the lens, and a legend in the making. Nick Penza has been around showing you all the scenes here at Charlie's. So for the entire Coaches versus Cancer board, all the fabulous people, host with the most at Charlie's, I'm Doug Stasic, the entire BFA crew. Coaches versus Cancer, the classic. It's only a few weeks away, and we'll see you soon right here on BFA. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everybody.